Greetings and welcome back to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese, and this is your daily dose of real talk, your weekday dose of real talk. This is where culture meets coaching, where healing meets headlines, and where we use alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. Happy Friday, y'all. It's technically Saturday, but we're not going to talk about that. It's a few minutes after midnight, but I'm here. This is episode 38. That means we have had over 40 hours of me talking to you because some of the shows went over an hour. So I am just going to celebrate consistency, discipline, showing up. And my intention is this is March 15th. My intention is to have a set time for you all by April. There are a lot of things that I'm working on. So right now I can only promise you a pop-up show, but I'm promising you that I'm showing up every weekday, Monday through Friday, popping up. So you got to make sure that you're not only subscribed to my channel, but you also have your notifications turned on. If you're not subscribed to my channel at this point, 38 episodes, live episodes, you just don't fuck with me like that. And I don't like that. Like, come on. I need y'all to go ahead and go to youtube.com/at Osha Cerese. The link is in my bio if you're watching from any other platform. If you happen to see me on YouTube, you're already here, so just go ahead and click the button. Hello. Subscribe, subscribe. Share it, like it, comment. All the other episodes, 1 through 37, are already up on my page, on my channel, under the live tab. I was asked a couple of times where to find the old episodes. They are under my live tab. And then, of course, I have content on my main page, reviews, blogs, and I have some more great content coming up for you all. Some that I haven't released that is already uploaded. So you need to be on my channel. The goal right now is of course, the goal is to have at least 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. But my next milestone that we're working toward now is 200. Ain't no shame in my game. I think we had like 179 or something like that. Let's see. Yep, we're at 179, so I need 21 subscribers. I was at 180 the other day. I don't know who dipped out on me, but hey, making room for new people. So we are we're gonna be getting into our show here in a second. Again, happy 38th episode. The drink of the evening. This is going to be my first time trying this. This is a strawberry coconut cream plant-based drink that I saw when I was shopping today that I've never seen before. It's by a brand that I like. I said I wasn't going to do no more shout outs for no brands until I start having some affiliates. But this will be my first time trying this strawberry coconut cream drink. It's plant-based. So we're going to say cheers to episode 38. Cheers to a great show. Cheers to happiness, abundance, love, creativity, peace, passion, flow, ease, joy. Cheers. It gives very much strawberry. I wasn't expecting that type of strawberry flavor. Let me try some. Let me try another sip. Or two or three or four. I was expecting it to taste more strawberry milkshake like strawberry milk, but it tastes like a strawberry syrup almost. It doesn't even taste like milk. I guess it tastes like remember cream savers? That's exactly what it tastes like, a strawberry cream saver. Not bad. Not bad. Not what I was expecting, but good. All right, y'all. It's been a long day. My energy might be a little off because I'm a little tired. But we're going to get through. We're going to get through. We showed up. We're here. Let's get into our show. So, as you know, we said we celebrate Black History all year, and we're celebrating Women's History Month this month of March. And today, our Women's History Month spotlight is none other than the beautiful, iconic Nina Simone. So she is, of course, an iconic singer, songwriter, pianist, civil rights activist, and her legacy shaped music and culture for generations. She was actually born Eunice Kathleen Wayman on February 21st, 1933, in Tryon, North Carolina. She showed remarkable musical talent at a young age, playing piano by ear at just 3 years old. She aspired to be a classical pianist and studied at Juilliard School of Music, but was denied admission to the Curtis Institute of Music due to racial discrimination. Studied at Juilliard, but got discriminated at against Curtis Institute of Music. To support herself, she began performing in clubs, adopting the stage name Nina Simone to avoid her family finding out she was playing the devil's music. She released her debut album, Little Girl Blue, in 1958, featuring the iconic track I Loves You, Porgy. Known for her unique blend of jazz, blues, classical, folk, and gossip, she became a voice for the civil rights movement with powerful songs like Mississippi Goddam, To Be Young, Gifted and Black, and For Women. She recorded over 40 albums throughout her career. 40. She struggled with mental health issues and later was diagnosed as having bipolar disorder. And she experienced domestic abuse during her marriage to Andrew Stroud, who was also her manager. And she lived in several countries, including Liberia, Barbados, and France, where she ultimately settled. She passed away April 21st, 2003 in Carry-le-Roi, France. I can't speak French. And after her passing, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2018. She will be remembered as a fearless artist and activist whose music continues to inspire and uplift. So we honor the beautiful Nina Simone. Thank you for your impact on our culture, in our life, in our history. I wanted to just make a comment because reading my notes about her being in an abusive relationship, there's somebody that I know, I'm not going to call no names. I'm sure if he sees this, because he sometimes watches, he'll know exactly who I'm talking about, and maybe he'll have a rebuttal. I don't know. But I was thinking about a comment that he made earlier and often makes. And I don't know if it bothered me. I don't know. I felt irritated by it earlier. I don't want to use the word triggered, but it did create some emotions for me that I had to process. Okay. So there's this one particular guy who says that he basically doesn't believe in abuse. I don't know if he says it in that way, but he frames it as abuse. What's required for abuse is a willing participant. And as a domestic violence abuse, domestic violence survivor myself, I just think that is just such an insensitive and dangerous perspective to have. I think why it came up for me today, because I experienced being abused far before I met this guy and far before he's made this statement. But I think why it bothered me today is because I was on Threads earlier and I saw I've never experienced sexual abuse. but it was a thread where this woman talked about her experience with sexual abuse from childhood. And so many people were in the comments sharing their experiences and how, people didn't believe them, and people swept it under the rug, or defended the abuser, or questioned their their part in it, or labeled them as fast, or whatever the results were that weren't directed towards the abuser, or there was no punishment or consequence for the abuser. And just reading through all of these people's stories and how it's still affecting them to this day in their big ages, like some of them were in their 50s plus, still hurting and still sad and still bitter and angry and resentful for the abuse that they endured in childhood and as they were teenagers or even as adults. Um, Not only towards the abusers, but towards the people who didn't believe them or didn't take it as seriously. And so, as I was reading through those comments, it made me think of the recent comment of hearing that abuse requires a willing participant. And again, I think that that is just such an insensitive and dangerous perspective to have. And yeah, um, I'm tired of even having to make. I was gonna say make that make sense. I'm not. I won't ever try to make that make sense. But to try to get the person who says that to look at things from a different perspective. But I don't know if you can necessarily teach someone empathy. Like, you could teach them what empathy means, but can you teach someone how to have empathy? I kind of believe at this point it's either in you or it's not. Um, because some people lack the ability to understand or feel for someone who has had an experience that they have not had. And to me, I don't understand that because I have empathy. So even if I've never experienced something that someone has gone through, or maybe even I don't quite understand, my first response is not to judge them, criticize them, or blame them, or shame them. Now, I'm not going to lie. There have been times where I probably have lacked, um, I don't want to say empathy, but lacked definitely the understanding of, I don't understand why this person does that. But I know there is a why. So even if I don't understand, I don't dismiss the fact that there's a root cause to why they're doing this, or why they're staying for this, or why they accept this. And it's easy for us looking out into other people's lives or into their relationships or into the situations that they place themselves in and be able to say what we would do, how we would do it differently, or what they should do. It's easy. Everybody does it. But you just don't know unless you're in somebody's shoes. So I just wanted to say that disclaimer. I wasn't even going to talk about that today, but it was on my mind earlier. And I think sometimes, and I'm not trying to wish nothing on nobody, but sometimes I've noticed a pattern of when people are like that, where they can't understand or empathize with people unless they go through it. Sometimes they're put in a position to go through it, or to have someone close to them experience it for them to be like, light bulb moment, oh, that's what that was. And so it reminds me of my paternal grandmother. She used to always say, laughing is catching. And so not empathizing doesn't equate to laughing at someone, but like judging people or looking down on their situation. Sometimes you mess around and see yourself end up in the same situations or similar situations, or again, have someone in your close circle go through it so you can get it. And I am not trying to get no hard lessons through not empathizing or understanding or just keeping my judgment of why people don't do what they do to myself. Now again, talking about something, processing it out loud, we do that. We talk about other people's situations or whatever, whether we understand it or not. But like, we have to do better with blaming victims, shaming victims. I just don't agree with that, and I just had to get that out. So now that we've gotten that out, we gonna talk about people. No, I'm just playing. Not in that way, but we are going to talk about some things because it's okay to talk about it and break it down and try to understand it, because there's some things I don't damn understand. We're going to talk about some of them today. And speaking of not wanting to take on the responsibility of teaching people certain things, like I don't want to have to teach anybody that abuse is bad or abuse is real. Um, I don't want to have to teach anybody that. Another thing I don't want to have to teach nobody, no grown ass people, is hygiene and manners. And these are two things that I feel like when it comes to Black culture, there is a big difference um, than other cultures. And there's so many examples that I see every day when it comes to the difference in culture when it comes to hygiene and manners. So I just wanted to talk about this because I saw a viral thread today that just reminded me of a whole bunch of other examples. And let's start off with hygiene, because I don't know about y'all, but in the Black community, we definitely are big on hygienic practices. Like, we don't play about germs and cleanliness and just being clean, smelling good, being clean. Um, Hand washing. I remember being a child, and of course, your parents teach you to wash your hands, teach you how to wash your hands, all of that. But I remember being, I think, in kindergarten, and we learned to sing. What song was it? It's a song that I hear it in my head, but I can't think of the song. Let me look it up. I always give this example and I always forget the name of the song. Oh my goodness. It is Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle went to town, Yankee Doodle dandy. However the song go, I don't remember it now, but I did know it back then. That was the song that we were told to sing, and once we got through singing that song, um, that was how long we needed to wash our hands. Let's look up the lyrics because maybe some of y'all need the reminder. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. He stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle. It says Yankee Doodle fly so wild. We used to say Yankee Doodle went to town. Yankee Doodle dandy. Yankee Doodle. These ain't the words I know. That says Yankee Doodle fa so la, Yankee Doodle dandy, Yankee Doodle fa so la, buttermilk and brandy. Those ain't the words we sang. But anyway, whatever song you need to sing to at least wash your hands for, let's just say 30 seconds. Let's go over hand washing because I learned it as a child. I learned it in school, learned it at home. As a nursing student, learned it thoroughly. Learned that in nursing school, we're taught to wash our hands as much as possible. You wash your hands when you enter a room. You wash your hands before you do a procedure. You wash your hands before you put your gloves on. After you take the gloves off, you wash your hands again. You wash your hands after you leave the room. Hand washing, simple. When the pandemic happened, we realized that a lot of people were not washing their hands. Why do y'all not wash your hands? So let's just get into the story time that I saw on Threads. So this is the type of stuff that I be talking about. The differences, because this is not the first time I've ever heard a story like this. So this story time was written by Nene Favors on Threads. I'm reading it all too, so buckle up. So she says, my coworker told people I harassed her. Hear me out. We always bring food to share. She always offers to make everyone's plate. One day I asked her to please not touch anything without sanitizer. She said sanitizer dries her hands. I told her I have hand lotion and vitamin E oil at my desk if she needs it. She gave me a crazy look. I asked her to meet me at my desk so that we may speak in private. Here's where the tears started. I said, "Hey, blank, her name. We all we all appreciate how helpful you are, but I want to address something in private. I didn't want to put you on the spot, so that's why I asked you to come over here." She looked at me confused. I told her, "We've been in the bathroom at the same time a few times, and each time you only washed one hand." She looked even more confused. I continued, "This morning you went number 2 and still only washed one hand." Y'all know this heifer replied, "That's the hand I wipe with." I told her even if that ridiculous statement made sense, both hands would need to be washed every time you go to the bathroom. If you want to be unsanitary at home, that's your business. But to touch utensils, plates, napkins, and drink shared by other employees is so disgusting and disrespectful. Please don't touch anything we share or offer to make anyone's plate unless using hand sanitizer. I haven't told anyone, but I will if I have to. I mean this with love. She nodded in agreement and walked away. She already touched some of the food and utensils at the table, so I opted out of eating anything brought in for our little potluck. Y'all know that trifling hoe walked back over there and made a scene. People were rubbing her back and asked why she was crying, then glaring at me. "Excuse me, Ben?" She wouldn't tell anyone what we discussed, but somehow started turning folks against me. They saw when I invited her over to talk, so they assumed I bullied her or something. I had enough of her theatrics, so I told everyone that I was looking out for them and told them she's mad that I demanded that she wash her hands or to not touch anything. I then told them she took a shit and didn't properly wash her hands before making their plates. Before you ask, yes, she was. Everyone stared at her in disbelief. Miraculously, her tears evaporated and she tried to explain herself. Everyone just left the food and walked away from the table. Then the supervisor asked her to come into her office. We later got an email about hygiene, and now there's a how to properly wash your hands to prevent germ sign on the mirror in the bathroom. And then she goes to explain, since everyone is asking how she washed only one hand, she would pump the soap into her right hand and squish it repeatedly while under the running water. So we listen and we don't judge, right? We listen and we don't judge. Maybe she was never taught how to wash her hands properly. Maybe in her household, I don't know. This is some things that I've noticed from different cultures. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Um, my question is why? Like, what's up? Why would you think it's not even about wiping yourself? I don't know. I might be a certified germaphobe. I don't want to diagnose myself with that, but like it's it's almost like I could see germs. Like I could see them and I could feel them. So anytime I touch something that I know I wouldn't want in my mouth, I just know to be careful with that hand and make sure that hand doesn't touch my mouth until I wash it. And that's with a lot of things that I'm touching in this world. So when you go in the bathroom, it's not about what hand you wipe with. How did you get in the bathroom? You probably had to push the door open. I know if you're not washing your hand, you didn't use your elbow. So you probably opened the door, pulled it open, or you pushed it open. Then, how did you get in the stall? You had to get in the stall and then you had to close the door and lock it. Everyone that has left that bathroom has touched that little thing to get out the bathroom, the lock, after they done did whatever in that stall. Then you got in the stall. I know you didn't put no tissue down and I know you didn't squat. So you sat on the toilet. What are you doing with these hands while you're sitting there on the toilet? You rolled up the tissue with using just one hand. You probably touched the toilet paper dispenser with one hand, and then pulled this out with it. You're touching all kind of stuff is my point. Then you walked out, you washed your hand, you turned on the knob, you squished the soap in the hand, ran the water, and then you probably turned the knob off with that same hand, touching the germs again, and then you walked out of the door. I know you didn't use your elbow, and you grabbed the thing again. And then you're walking around touching other things in the office, pens that everybody's been using. You probably blowing your nose, all of these type of things, and you talking about you want to make somebody's plate and get food and stuff. Somebody in the comments said that they were at a shared potluck at work and one of the interns licked the spoon and put it back in the damn food. What's going on? That's why I don't do potlucks. I remember when I was in nursing school, there was one particular young lady. She would literally pick every body part that she had. She would be picking it when we were in class. Ears, eyes, nose, digging in her mouth, biting her nails, digging down her pants, rubbing on her toes, picking in between them. And then when we have potluck, you want to be the first one to get in line. I'm good on potlucks. Another job that I had, the body odors and the smells that would come out of people's mouths and just exude from their bodies. Those would be the main ones wanting to bring a dish for everybody to eat. And thank God by the time I was there, I was vegan. So I would love to be able to say, sorry, can't eat that. I'm vegan. Just going to have this salad that I brought or this dish that I made. I'm good. So who's responsible for teaching the hand washing and the cleanliness? I don't know. But people have different levels of cleanliness and I don't know. Um when I see little kids now, little kids don't be washing their hands good. They might put some soap on there and then they put their hands directly under the water. I'm like, where's the washing part? You gotta you gotta wash your hands like this. You gotta get in between there. You gotta rub it all around. Get up on them wrists. Them wrists is nasty too. They be touching stuff. Get up under them nails. And then once you've done that a good amount of time, then you can rinse. I like to repeat, but that's just me. Um, I know that there's some people that have gone viral on TikTok for just simply teaching people how to bathe, like literally describing how they shower, what utensils they use. Some people don't use washcloths, loofahs, sponges, African cloths, anything. They just use their hands. Some people don't even use soap. We're learning that some people don't wash their legs, they don't wash their feet, they really don't wash their body. They just kind of let the water and the soap or shampoo or whatever just run down their bodies and they consider that clean. And then we're also learning that some people consider going swimming to be a way to get clean. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We have, the hand washing, the showering practices again. most Black people were taught to bathe at least daily. At least. Now, for me, if I leave the house, I'm going to shower before I leave, and I'm going to shower when I get back, or at least before I get in my bed. So if I get back, like today, I was out early, out and about. I haven't showered yet. I showered before I left, but I will be showering when we get off of this call before I get in my bed tonight. Um, I shower sometimes 3 times because if I start my day out with a shower, go somewhere, if I get back and I want to lounge around or take a nap or something, or if I come back and I'm getting ready to go out again for the night or something, I'm going to shower before I go out. And then when I get home, I'm going to shower again before I get in bed. I'm not getting in my bed unshowered, period. So the amount of showers I take is based on how often I leave the house. But if I don't leave the house, it's going to happen at least every day. And there are some people who don't shower every day, that some of them don't even shower every week. So that's interesting. Hmm. And then of course we have the washing meat situation. I don't eat meat anymore, and I haven't cooked meat in a long time either. But when I did wash my meat, and I know that's a cultural thing too. And most chefs will tell you that heat kills off the germs, and it's not necessary to wash the meat prior to cooking it. But culturally, that's what a lot of Black people do. Some people just wash it off with some water. Some people go as far as vinegar and lemon and salt and different things to prepare their meat. And it's been working out for Black folks so far. You don't often hear a lot of Black people talking about they got foodborne illnesses based on things that they cooked in their house. So it must be working. Now, hold on, let me get some water. Now, when it comes to hair hygiene, we have different hair. So our hair routine and the amount of times that we have to wash our hair is different because we have certain oils in our hair that we need to preserve. Our hair does not do what other cultures' hair do. So I don't know how often. I thought that people outside of the Black culture usually wash their hair daily when they're in the shower. Sometimes maybe they go a couple of days. I don't know. But Black people usually are not washing their hair no more than once a week, and even that is a lot. So it just depends on the person when it comes to that. Um, yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand a lot of the differences with hygiene. There's a guy who has dedicated his TikTok page to talking about the different practices of hygiene, and there's just so many realizations. Like I said, some of the things that I just named was from his series, like not washing feet, not washing legs, not washing as frequent, using only their hands, not using soap. Um, the whole get in the pool to be clean, all of that type of stuff. Um, Manners. So that's a big thing. I feel like as Black people, we are taught to have respect, or certain things that we are, you don't say what if you're called by a parent or an adult. You say yeah, you don't say what, or you don't say huh. You say yes, or you say ma'am or sir, depending on how strict your folks are. Usually making sure you have respect for your elders, talking, speaking when you enter a room. If you come in somebody's house or you walk in a room that you weren't in before, you're the one that's supposed to speak. All of these things, saying excuse me when you're walking past somebody, or you need to get in front of someone, or you need to interrupt a conversation or insert yourself into a conversation, you just say excuse me. Everybody's not taught that. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. To You can really experience the difference in culture when it comes to Manners by visiting your local grocery store. I told y'all about this a couple of times already, but y'all know I went viral at the beginning of the year because of a grocery store incident. I feel like anytime that I'm experiencing the most amount of rudeness and entitlement and audacity from other people, other cultures, is in the grocery store. So one thing that I noticed the most is that folks do not say excuse me. And I feel like that's one of the first phrases that we are taught when it comes to manners. We're taught please, thank you, and excuse me. Nobody's exercising that skill. So the perfect examples of when to use the phrase excuse me when you're in a grocery store. If you are if someone is standing in the aisle looking at something, say they're standing back and they're looking at something and there's enough room for you to walk in front of them to get by. What do you look like walking in front of them and not saying excuse me? I just don't understand that, but it happens. Other people don't say excuse me when they walk in front of others. If you have to reach in front of someone, you say excuse me, or you wait until you can, or you ask them to hand it to you if you feel comfortable enough. Like, excuse me, can you hand me that? Or excuse me, let me grab that. Some people don't say that. If you need to get by someone at the grocery store and they're in your way, just say excuse me. Perfect example. I promise you, I don't know if I have a sign on my head when I go to the grocery store where people just want to bother me. I was catching up with a friend that I ran into at the store the other day. I don't know if I told y'all this already or not. I think I might have, but I'm gonna repeat it. We're standing there. Both of us are tall. I'm 5'9.5". I think she's maybe 5'11". So she's standing like this in front of me. There's one of those display things in the aisle. We're out of the aisle because where we were, you can walk this way, you can walk this way, and then there's a display case of, I think it was shampoo, in the middle of the aisle. So we're standing right next to the display case so that people can get by both of us on either side. And so we're talking or whatever, and I don't notice that there's somebody behind her. And she didn't notice either, but then when she did, the woman was walking away. And so she was like, did she need something? I was like, I don't know. We were in the middle of a conversation. So then about 5 or 6 minutes later, this same woman, it was an older Caucasian woman, came back. Didn't say a word, just standing there. And my friend is like, did you need something? And she's just like, ah, ah. And I'm thinking, why won't she just say, excuse me? We cannot read your mind. We didn't even see you. You would rather stand there for however long. We were standing there talking for 20 minutes. You would rather just stand there for 20 minutes instead of just opening your mouth and saying, excuse me. And a lot of people, I feel like they know how to say excuse me, but they just refuse to for people that don't look like them because they don't want to feel like they're having to utilize manners. And the reason I say that is because I've had a situation where was walking in the grocery store, getting ready to I think I was walking out of the aisle with my cart and there was a woman that was turning and we almost collided. And I think I might have said, "Oh, excuse me." She didn't open her mouth. Didn't crack a smile. Didn't even really acknowledge my presence. The same woman had the same situation happen to her on the next time I saw her in the store with another woman that looked like her. And it was, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Total different energy. So I see it, I recognize it, and I don't like it actually. I think that it's very rude and disrespectful, and I don't have a problem calling it out. I don't have a problem saying no when for requests such as come follow me and come get something for me off of a shelf, which I was asked and said no. Um, Even when it comes to like personal space, we have a difference in manners when it comes to that. Like touching people that you don't know, touching people that even you do know that you don't have the permission to touch, like touching hair. If I let you touch my hair, that means that I love you, I trust you, and I know that it is all good energy. I don't let everybody touch my hair. For whatever reason, some people don't understand that that's a boundary. And I had an old coworker who, when I before I had my hair locked, she was anyway. I used to wear my hair has been natural since '09, but I would wear my hair curly a lot. Like I would do bantu knots and do bantu knot out, so I would have curls, um, curly froze, twist outs, And every now and then I would get a silk press. Soon as I come into work with a silk press, here you come running your fingers through my hair. Back then, I didn't have the same boundaries or the same voice that I have now because I would have definitely told her, don't touch my hair. Don't do that. That's crazy to me. Like touching people's faces, touching people's hair, touching people in general without their permission or their invitation to. In personal space, I one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why I left my career as a nurse. Of course, there were some way more serious reasons why I decided to leave because, it was just time. I was ready to venture out on my own and some other reasons. But the job that I had got, I went from working, it was the same company, but I used to work um, in a department, pediatric department with several other nurses, probably like one, two, three, four, five, at least 5 or 6 other nurses, several doctors, and all of us would share the same unit. Like the doctors would come and chart right where in the nurses station, and then they had their offices in the back. So it was like super busy, super, just loud, a lot overstimulating. I would feel everybody's energy. Coworkers that sat next to me, I would feel their energy. We were right next to another department, the adult primary care department, so I would hear all of that, and it was just a lot going on. Although I loved working with the people that I worked with, most of them, um, I ended up transferring to a place that was closer to me. Still worked in pediatrics, but at this job, I had my own office. I was the only pediatric nurse. I ran the department myself with one doctor. Sometimes it would be two pediatricians. Would it be two at a time or one at a time? I think it would be one pediatrician per shift. It was two of them that would switch. And we had 2 rooms. At the other job, I had 3 rooms that I had to manage. And so at this job, 2 rooms. My office was also the triage room. So I had my own, routine. I worked really efficiently. I would go get my first patient of the day, come back with the parents, whatever type of appointment it is. If we needed to we got to do your vitals, we got to do your triage, do my charting, type everything in, see why you're here, make sure everything's up to date. If you're doing a well visit, we're going to do a hearing and vision check. If you a baby, we got to do, get you prepped for the shots, vaccines, get the paperwork done. If it's a visit for sports, we got to do certain things for that. If it's a sick visit, we got to maybe test you for strep, whatever we got to do. Handle it, put you in a room, go get another patient, do the same thing, put them in a room. If another patient shows up, triage them, put them back in the lobby, rotate them out. Like I had a system. Everything was all good. Then my supervisor saw how good I was as a nurse, and all of a sudden he started making it so that I was the trainer. So he wanted me to train all the people. Whew. I don't like people in my personal space. Mind you, it was an office. Triage room and the office was the same thing. So I had my desk, my computer, The baby scale was behind me. Two chairs right here. The big scale over here. The height. Then I had my cabinets with my supplies and everything. Vital machines. Ain't no room for nobody else. I'm training people. Everybody want to just be right here on me. I don't. I didn't last too long with that because it was just too much. And then having to train people, and then they say nurses eat their young, meaning we don't. We nurses are known for like not really liking to train or help and all of that. I don't mind helping. I will be your mentor. I will tell you where everything is. I will support you. But I personally didn't like training. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like training because it threw me off. It threw my schedule and my flow off. And then I'm behind because I got to do this and that. And it's bad because somebody had to train me one day. But some people love to train. I wasn't one of those people. So that contributed to me leaving because I'm just like, I can't be bothered every day. But certain people lack the understanding of personal space more than others is the purpose of my story. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because I saw that viral post, and I just feel like there's definitely cultural differences in upbringing when it comes to manners and hygiene and just simple things that we overlook every day. And it's very noticeable to me. I don't know about y'all. So then I wanted to talk about also there's a viral clip going around of a woman on one of these dating shows, and she is basically drilling this man with questions. So I'm gonna let y'all hear it, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Trauma. Have you healed from your childhood trauma?
That was a good ass question, for real.
Because I've thought about it.
I'm
and do you have issues with your mother, like your mother and your siblings? Do they have too much control over how you move in a relationship? Is it always about them first, or is it about the person you're with?
It's definitely about the person I'm with. You know what I'm saying?
What do you do for a living?
I drive a city bus.
Oh, you work at Indigo?
For sure.
So you don't have a set schedule then, right?
Nah, I keep a set schedule. I got seniority.
How long you been there?
2 years now.
How many children you have?
Got 4 of
them. How old are they?
Shit, my youngest is 3. Oldest is 11.
Do you give your baby mothers gifts on Mother's Day?
Do I give my baby mamas gifts on Mother's Day?
Because they are caring for your children while you're at work.
It depends on how our relationship going at that time of the year.
Can you co-parent?
I definitely co-parent.
Are you open to going to church?
If I get the right woman in my life, you feel me? We get up on Sunday mornings and church is what we gotta do after football season. We definitely on that.
I don't know anything about football, but I have to be at church at 7:15 in the morning because I'm a nurse at church. So, how willing or committed would you be able to be to that?
After football season, we in there. Whatever Sunday you want me in there.
I mean, do you want God or the Patriots?
I definitely don't want the Patriots. I want the Colts.
No, I said, do you want God?
Woo! So she was shooting them rapid fire questions, and the question I want to pose to y'all is that too much or just enough when it comes to vetting when you're intentionally dating? Now, of course, this is a dating show, so it's a little bit different than if you were on a date, but I think that is an important conversation to have because y'all know I always preach vetting properly. And there are certain questions that you should be able to ask or that you should be willing to answer when it comes to getting to know people if you are really about this intentional dating life. So I don't think anything was necessarily wrong with the questions that she asked. Yeah, I don't think anything was wrong with the questions that she asked, but I will say that if it was a normal dating scenario, like they got each other's numbers and they were getting to know each other prior to going on a date, or maybe she asked some of these questions before the date and then some of them on the first date. I think there's a way to get this information without it feeling like an interrogation. But I do also believe that in order for it to not feel like an interrogation, there has to be a mutual understanding, a mutual agreement, the same type of intentions. Like somebody that's not really trying to do nothing but be a fun girl or fun boy, or you know, just there for the moment, they're not going to want to answer those type of questions. They're going to be like, you're doing too much. But somebody that's really looking for love and knowing that you're looking for love, I think that they would be willing to answer those questions. But I also feel like nobody wants to feel like they're being interviewed or interrogated. So again, you have to find ways to incorporate these questions through conversation. Somebody that I was getting to know a couple of weeks ago, I feel like he did a good job at leading when it came to questions. And I think that he did a good job with being open and transparent with the questions that I posed. So he definitely was open to answering the questions that I would drop in here and there. I don't like to interrogate. I like it to flow naturally. But he did something like he would be like, okay, question of the day. And he would pose a question and then we would talk and then the conversation would flow from there, which of course other questions would come up. But yeah, I think that there's a way to do it. Vigilante says, not a fan of intentional dating because I don't think anyway should be dating. Maybe that's anyone should be dating. Um, any kind of way, all willy nilly. Homie sounds very unsuccessful, so that put him in the alternative dating market. And the fact that she understands this about him and she's still considering him puts her in the alternative dating market as well. So given that that was perfect for who she is and who he was. Now, I think that in this particular scenario, I think that she is being very intentional. And this is why she has thought about these types of questions and why they're important for her to know the answer to. I think that she seemed like she was much more mature than him in that scenario. I've never seen that show. It looked like it was kind of set up like a pop the balloon type show, but they had red bandanas like bloods on their shoulders. So I would have to see more of the setup
from your childhood trauma.
the setup on their show. But I definitely think that everybody, from what I could see, I don't want to judge them based off of their appearance, but just from their reactions to her questions, they seem very immature, and she seems very mature. So I don't know about no alternative dating market and all of that, but I definitely think that she was a little bit too mature for the show that she was on. But I think that her questions are good. Um, the reason why intentional dating, you say that you don't believe that everyone should be dating any kind of way, all willy nilly, but they are. There are some people that are just literally just going out to have a good time. They don't have any strings attached. They don't want anything per se. Maybe they just want company for the evening. Um, and I wouldn't call that intentional because some people literally don't have any intentions. They're just going with the flow and they don't have any plan for themselves. They don't have any desire for their, specific outcomes that they're looking for. They're just literally going with the flow vibing. And maybe it's because of the place that they are in their lives. Maybe they really not interested in anything long term and they just like the company of the opposite sex. If she deserved a man with no childhood trauma and church partner, she would have got it by now, and by the type of man she would want it from. So, what would make her not deserving of that? Hey. But anyway, while you're writing your response, intentional dating is basically knowing your non-negotiables and asking the questions that align with your values. So, learning what people's favorite colors are and what they like to do and all of that is cute, and it's helpful, for certain things. But if you're intentional about what you're trying to do, if your intention is marriage, or intention is starting a family, your intention is building an empire, your intention is having a partner to travel with, or whatever it is, and certain values that you want to align with, those are the type of questions that you got to ask to find out. And sometimes it's better to just see it in person than to spend too much time on the third degree. I do think that, again, not making things seem like an interrogation is definitely important, or an interview. Like an interview is just like, what are you trying to do? Who are you? Where did you grow up? Like, just back to back questions. And then the interrogation, I feel like when it's definitely putting the heat on people, being combative and defensive and belittling them based on their answers. Hold on one second. Okay. Vigilante says 90 to 95% of people said to their high school counselor that they wanted to go to college and be successful. Those same people are check to check now, so I never care about intent in areas, to be honest. Okay. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Yeah, so basically, you got to figure out what it is that you want and who is deserving of your time to even ask these type of questions, because there's some times where you could just feel the vibe and know that it's just not your person. So all of the time it takes to sit up there and go back and forth with questions and answers. But do you all feel like there are questions that are inappropriate to ask, let's say on the first couple of conversations or on the um, first date? Because I want to say it was my cousin. She hadn't been single in a long time, so um, she hasn't really dated. But she was saying that she thinks it's appropriate to ask somebody's credit score on the first date. I don't think so. I don't think so. Going with the flow is better when you clearly around qualify. You're gonna have to start proofreading these comments. I can't understand. Going with the flow is better when you clearly around qualified individuals. You never know why God, I told you about that God with the lowercase g, put someone in your path. Mm-hmm. Sweet Tea Inspiration says yes. Questions about your body count. I think that's an inappropriate question to ask. I think that that's an inappropriate question to ask, period, let alone on the first date. I don't think it's anybody's business on how many people you've been with. I think that if two people are going to be sexually involved, they should be finding out about sexual health status, if that person is still healing from a past lover, if they, if you want children, asking about questions about fertility, not necessarily on the first date, but like as you're getting to know people, asking about sexual wellness, womb wellness, a man's, sperm count, whatever. If y'all talking about having kids, like, hey, are you healthy? Have you gotten this checked out? What's up? Another question that I don't think people think about as often, something that I have to unfortunately think about, is asking a man if he has sickle cell trait, because I have sickle cell trait. I don't have sickle cell anemia, but I have the trait. So if a potential partner also has the trait, then most likely our child would have anemia. I don't want to put my child through that. So again, I keep telling y'all, my dating pool options get smaller and smaller because there's certain things that limit who I would take seriously. Vigilante says, I think it's subjective per person what's too far on the first date, but I like to tread the line to check a person's temperature, but while having a blast on the date. Yeah. Yeah, I think I talked about this earlier this week about how we've gotten to the point where intentional dating is not in alignment with dating for fun. Like I've even asked the question several times, like, where are you at on your dating journey? Are you dating intentionally or dating for fun? But why can't intentional dating also be fun? I think we've lost track of, because people are about their business, they know what they want. Some of us know what we want, and our tolerance level is so short for people who don't meet those standards or meet exactly what's on our checklist, that we forget to just enjoy and be and have fun and have certain experiences and getting to know people. And again, some people don't deserve your in-person time or your energy based on whatever you found out. But sometimes, even if they don't look like your person on paper, they may still be a good person. You might have some commonalities that will allow you to have a good time with this person, and you never know what can blossom or develop from that. So I think that we have to stop losing sight of the fun. And even if it is your person, not just sitting there trying to figure out if they check off everything in your boxes, check all the boxes off on your list, if they are the one. They might not, everybody is not the one. Everybody's not your husband, everybody's not your wife, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a good time meeting new people and having new experiences in the meantime. And again, like Vigilante said, you don't know why God put someone in your path. This is one of them drinks where you could just do a little small cup. I think I got too much. It's a strange taste. It tastes like cream savers with a little aftertaste. Vigilante says, I agree with you. Intentionally dating should also be fun. We got to throw that checklist out the window as well. Preference and type is garbage. Vibe and character is everything. I halfway agree with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with a list. We talked about that, I think, last week. I think the problem is not being open to what's outside of that list, and also not going further than just creating a list. First of all, the list, whatever you create, that is your desired person, your preferred person, your dream person. That doesn't mean that you're closed off to someone that doesn't, again, fit who that person is on paper. Um, but you have to go the extra mile, not just writing the list, but also thinking about the opposites that come along with that list. So if you have someone who, like David Banner said, the woman asked him to be she said she wanted a successful man who also had a lot of time. And he's like, how? You know, as a successful man, I'm out here, I'm an activist, I'm a rapper, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, I'm an actor, doing all these things, getting the bag, securing my future, getting prepared to start a family. I don't have that time for you. So he's like, if I would have settled down prior to now, my wife would have just been at the house by herself and, raising children by herself. So thinking about what's on your list and what can come along with that. So you want a fine man. Okay. Fine men they attract certain type of attention. Are you able to handle that? Um, like, you know, professional men, they're going to be busy. They're going to have to travel a lot. Can you handle that? A man that loves his mother, that's family oriented. What if he needs to take care of his family and he is often called upon by his family? Are you able to handle that? There's so many other things that go along with these lists that we create. Also, looking at the list and determining, does this person that fits this description want someone like me? Am I my type's type? That's another question that you have to ask yourself. And if you're not your type's type, Are you willing to improve or adjust or work on some areas that will allow you to better align with the person that's on your list without necessarily changing the core of who you are, the essence of who you are, or not being authentic? And then you have to also think about how you want to feel, not just what you want this person to possess, but how do you want to feel so you're able to sit in that energy. Um, and then another aspect of it is, you know, again, bringing it back to yourself. What does your list look like? If somebody was writing down their dream person, is that you? So, working on things to improve yourself, self-improvement, personal development, working on your personal style, getting out and about, getting into your getting into your hobbies and interests and passions and things of that nature, having a life. And then with all of that considered, praying about it, the spiritual aspect of it, like um Viola Davis had talked about how she prayed for her husband, and literally, I think it was 2 weeks later, got the exact things that she prayed for. We always talk about Sierra's prayer, and you know, there's a lot of people out here that attribute prayer to finding their person and their spirituality. And then, of course, when it comes to manifestation, praying, bringing things into fruition, whatever you want to call it, faith without works is dead. So you can have your list, you can pray about it and all of that, but you got to do what you got to do to put yourself in a position to meet your person. Vigilante says most people list and everything that they don't deserve and haven't earned. The people you interact with on a day to day are your level. They just don't want to admit that, and that is an issue. Yeah, some people. Some people, some people. So yes, y'all, we about to wrap it up. We've been on here for a little bit over an hour. This is our Friday night show. Make sure you visit oshacerese.com to book a session if you need support on your journeys of healing, self-love, self-discovery, and intentional dating. Um, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. I know y'all been watching the channel through either Instagram or you just so happen to be scrolling by. Stick around, subscribe, turn your notifications on, because this is a pop-up show. We're here every weekday. And also, I have some other content for you on my page, blogs, reviews, and interviews coming up soon. And some more things. We got some discussion panels on the way. We got a lot for you on this channel coming up. So make sure you're subscribed. Again, visit the website. I got the programs for you in case you want to have a guided workshop with some coaching included. One single step at a time is my 6-week healing workshop. You're going to be doing some inner child healing, shadow work, getting to know yourself, discovering who you are, what you want, what you need, what you got to offer, taking some accountability for some of the things that you have experienced in your past, and finding out, what it is that you contributed to it, what in you was able to manifest or attract the things that occurred in your life. Um, of course, you're going to be going over your plan of action for the future. I'm going to hold you accountable to make sure you meet them goals. And we're going to get you right. Again, that 6 weeks is guided. There's coaching included, and how to beat single guided journal is included as well. If you feel like you don't need the guidance and the coaching right now, you just want to do the work on your own, self-paced, grab the journal. It's on the website as well, How to Beat Single. And then we have 5 ways in 5 days. It is a self-love workshop incorporating your love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care, and also how to uncover any blockages you may have when it comes to giving and receiving love. That is a 5-day program. You can do it in as little as 5 days, or you have up to 60 days to complete, and it comes with one free coaching session. Now, if you are a creative, an influencer, a business owner, building a brand, or you have some ideas but you just don't know how to utilize or monetize them, you need a strategy session. Strategy session, you fill out a form, give me a little bit of information. We hop on a call. We will get you together whether you need a content strategy, a plan, some help setting up digital programs like courses or ebooks, graphics, niche, whatever it is that's all having to do with your social media management, presence, and your business. Hop on a strategy call. You don't need to get a discovery call to figure it out. If you know you fall under that category, just book the strategy session. And if you so happen to be confused on where to start, book a discovery call and I got you. Let's see. Vigilante says I was on the phone with my mom today and we talked about this and I noticed I didn't say anything about looks or finances. I stated all character, morals, and values, threw my list out a long time ago. Yeah, that's wonderful. I definitely think that those are the most important things to pay attention to when it comes to what type of partner you want to have. And it's definitely character, morals, and values. Absolutely. So, again, go to the website, oshacerese.com, for coaching and discovery calls and guided journals and courses and all the good things. And if you are an intentional dater, looking for love, hopeful, romantic, make sure you are on the Intentional Love Collective database. That is a growing community where I am utilizing the information that you give me to align you with a partner with your values, principles, morals, character, interests, and preferences in mind. So make sure you definitely join the Intentional Love Collective. It's not on the website yet. It is in my bio, though. It's linked in my bio. Go ahead and fill that out. I got people in the Atlanta area. I got people in other states, and I even have people in other countries for those of you who are open to long distance, traveling, or relocating. So wherever you are, go ahead and fill it out. I am about to give y'all my journaling prompts of the evening and wrap this thing up, y'all. I'm tired. Okay. Doop, 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 doop. So, what are 3 non negotiable qualities you look for in a partner? What are 3 non negotiable qualities you look for in a partner? How do you balance being intentional with being open to new experiences? And how can you communicate your standards without overwhelming a potential partner? And I'm going to give you a bonus one for the other topic that we had today. What are deal breakers for you when it comes to hygiene and manners? Thirst ass. But thank you all for tuning in. I'm getting ready to shower, do some yoga, unwind, and relax. I have an early day. I've been busy, y'all. It's a lot going on. But I will share some updates with y'all soon. I thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you for those of you who stuck around live. Thank you for those of you who will be watching the playback. Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk to y'all Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Good night and have a great weekend. I'll see y'all Monday. Oh, yeah. Send me your letters and any information, feedback, questions, comments to oshacerese@gmail.com. Again, if you have a letter or something you want me to talk about on the show or a particular topic you want me to talk about, send it to oshacerese@gmail.com. Good night, y'all.